The Seahawks did it. They beat the 49ers the first time in Geno Smith's Seahawks career. He was 0-5 going into today. He finally gets a win against the 49ers, a much-needed win by the Seahawks, and a feel-good win, always beating the 49ers.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, a division rival game. It's been I feel like forever since we beat the 49ers. So this is always a
2
huge,
years.
huge. Has it been
At
2
least,
years?
right?
I think more than 2 years. I mean, we didn't beat them last year. Did we beat them the year before that? I think it's been
No.
3 years.
Yeah, it's like a 2-year gap.
Yeah, 2-year gap. And
2021, man.
wow, it's a long time. 2021 is like almost in 2025 now. So calendar years has been a long time, but no, it feels really good. And it's about damn time, as LeBron James would say. And I feel like this could be a huge, huge, huge turning point for the Seahawks off a bye week too. You always want to see your team do well off bye weeks, and that's what we did. Like that's, to me, one of the biggest takeaways is like, how do you look off a bye week, off of a tumultuous bye week where we lost a player to retirement, lost a player to cutting our starting linebacker. Yeah, just good vibes all around. Sammy, do me a favor, right here live on the pod, go turn on your good vibes light.
I will, right after the intro. I was trying to get to it, but, that was a long spiel. You're listening to the Sports on Tap Seattle podcast. I'm Sammy, and with me, as always, is my older brother, George.
Your favorite place to be a fan of Seattle sports. Now let's get this party started.
There
The
it
good
is!
vibe.
The
Good vibes is on.
Vibes light. Yes. The
good vibes light is on. The good vibes are back. A weird bye week, as mentioned. Releasing Terrell Dotson a couple weeks after letting go of Jerome Baker, Connor Williams retiring, and then the Seahawks, who were definitely an extremely doubted team. A team that obviously, were 6.5-point underdogs against the 49ers. They were a team that has lost 5 out of 6 games, sitting at 4-5 now. There was a lot of negative things about this team. And then all of a sudden, I was, looking at who got the game balls. The Seahawks posted a little video about it.
Yeah.
On the defense, Devin Witherspoon got it. Jonathan Hankins got it because he got that tip from Witherspoon for the interception. But on the offensive side, it was Geno Smith, for his game-winning touchdown. They gave him the game-winning ball, which is understandable. But 2 guys that got it were Abe Lucas, as Mike McDonald called him, a real-life Viking. Abe Lucas is what he said, which is a huge part of the team having him back. We already have a really good left tackle, now having a really good right tackle back. If he's healthy, that's a big deal. And Olusegun, or Alu,
he got to show off again. 2 podcasts in a row. Say his name.
I did it easy that time. He got a game ball. Coming in for Connor Williams, he's a second-year player, gets the game ball, plays a clean game. It's really good to see after, like you said, a sketchy week, a weird week, I guess, in Seahawks football. We're talking about a team that was highly doubted, super underdogs, makeshifting things at the offensive line, whether it's a new center because of a release and then, Abraham Lucas's first game. And then you go to San Francisco and win. I know San Francisco's the same record as us now at 5-5, but that's a way higher quality win than the record show.
Bro, the San Francisco 49ers were second going into this week in odds to make the Super Bowl in the NFC. Now, it changed after Thursday Night Football when the Eagles beat the Commanders. They became second. But still, like according to Vegas, they're the 3rd most likely team to make the Super Bowl out of the NFC. And we beat them on the road with Christian McCaffrey back, with honestly a very tumultuous time for us. Like, oh, come on, man, but this is good. This is good vibes. This is like saying, hey, the Seahawks are back. The Seahawks are in a position next week to beat the Cardinals and be first place in the NFC West.
First or second.
I mean, it depends on other things falling. But if you beat
Well, it
the
basically depends on the Rams. But
yeah, so like, but you're in a position to be in the best in first place in the NFC West. A position.
yeah, no, I was gonna get there. I mean, the 49ers play the Packers on the road next week, which is a very losable game for the 49ers. The Packers keep finding ways to win. The Rams play Sunday night at home, but against the Eagles. And the Eagles are a team that is kind of getting their upstart this year and starting to win games and, not be beat. And if you can slide a win at home against the Cardinals and you get the Rams or 49ers to lose, all of a sudden you're just sitting there in a really solid position to be a team that has a solid shot again, even though it felt like we had no shot anymore, a solid shot again to be an NFC West champ. And there's a lot of good signs out of today. I mean, I think there's like a pro and con here. Obviously, Geno Smith is not an elite quarterback, but he finds a way in times of need to do good. And I think, if you look at numbers, it doesn't look good. If you look, just watching the game throughout the game, the guy makes mistakes.
Yeah.
But like when in need, he did this against the Rams 2 weeks ago, when in need and different things. Like he finds a way. He does definitely have a little bit of an it factor to him. And today it showed up by running a big drive. Not any quarterback. I'm telling you, there's not every quarterback in the NFL can get the ball on the road down, down 4 points, drive down the field on the 49ers defense and go score with 10 seconds left to win the game.
No,
It's not every quarterback.
It's very few and far between quarterbacks who can do that, and it just feels good for all the Geno Smith. I wouldn't say haters. Like I think everyone's rooting for him, but a lot of people wanted him. Like they're like out on Geno Smith. No, he makes the right plays when there's time. I know today. Go look at his stat lines. No touchdowns, 1 interception, 1 rushing touchdown. It doesn't like jump off the screen or anything like that. But man, doesn't matter. At the end of the game, he drove us down the field and had a rushing touchdown. And by the way, he's been great on the ground this year.
Yeah, I mean, he's been great once again on the ground in times of need, especially. I mean, and when it's a broken play and can get a first down, or late in the game when we need to score, he's finding a way to go downfield and score. And it's cool to see. I mean, at the end of the day, there is, also the side of the defense. I mean, if we just we outdid them in total yards. They did outdo us in rushing yards a little bit, but everything else, the Seahawks were essentially right there ahead of them. And you look at, a guy like Brock Purdy was held to 159 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 pick, which means the defense is definitely coming together. I mean, there's a little more health right now.
Yes.
There's, just a total team situation of, okay, you held the 49ers to 17 points, outdid them in yards. Brock Purdy doesn't even cap 200 yards on the day. That's another really big sign outside the offense. I think we all know what the offense can do when things go well.
Correct.
We had 70 yards by DK Metcalf with 7 catches, 10 catches, 110 yards by Jackson Smith and Jigba, 14 rushes for 54 yards by Kenneth Walker. Nothing crazy, but we know he's a good back. And we know what the offense does when it's, locked in. But for the defense to hold San Francisco at home to 17 points, 159 yards for Brock Purdy. And I know it doesn't sound great, but 79 rushing yards and 27 receiving yards for McCaffrey. If you're holding McCaffrey to only 100 yards total, that's also a good sign when you look at, hey, we scored 20. We can hold a team like San Francisco to 17 on the road. That's a good sign moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I mean, just in general, to see us win a game on the road. San Francisco, division rival, off a bye. Like you check all those boxes, right? Division rival, check. Off a bye week, check. San Francisco on the road, check. Check 1, 2, 3. Like, yeah,
Some
no,
chaos in the building with releases and retirements too. That's it.
yeah, chaos in the building doesn't matter. We're going to be focused on the road. Check. Like, check all those boxes. It's a great day for the Seattle Seahawks, plain and simple.
Yeah, and it feels good to beat the 49ers. I mean, at the end of the day, like Geno Smith was 0-5 in his career with the Seahawks against the 49ers. They get a win. We put ourselves, as you said, in a at least reasonable spot to possibly be first place next
Yeah.
week. You go beat the Cardinals, which is possible, and you might look at yourself at first place, and that's why the season was kind of on the line. I think we talked about it.
Yeah, we
Earlier
said the
this year.
season was on the line in this game, and it totally was. And now, I'm not saying we're going to go out and win the division or anything like that because there's so many games left. Right, we're like 33% into the season, so like they're a little less than 33%. 33% be 15, whatever. Like no more than.
Dude,
Sorry,
we're more than halfway through
halfway.
the season.
So like, I
get
meant
to the
say
point. Get to the point.
66%. We're a little more than 66% into the season. Math is not my strong suit, but we're in a position where we can make a run. Plain and simple. Doesn't mean we're going to win the division, but this is where you want to be.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you just didn't want to be at a spot where you're not competing anymore. That's why the season was on the line. You lose today, you're 2.5 games back of first place. Going into next week, where if you lose, it's for sure season's over.
Yeah.
Instead of next week going to a spot where it's over if you lose, like guaranteed. Now it's in a spot of if you win, you could be in first place. And that's a huge turnaround for a team that has lost 5 out of 6 and a team that, quite frankly, we don't, and I think we still don't know. And I think this is a big point here is we still don't know exactly what they are and who they are. I think there's still so much development for this team. There's so much we can do better at. So many ways we could have won more games. But for a team that I almost feel like we still don't have a full grasp of, for them to be sitting at 5-5 and be only half a game out of first is truly a bigger positive than it sounds like for probably outsiders. If we're talking to some Buffalo Bills fan in New York right now, they'll just be like, the Seahawks suck, right? Like, oh, they're 5-5. Like, no one cares about the Seahawks. But if you're talking about like inside fans, people that follow the Seahawks, to be 5-5 right now and be half a game out of first and be fighting for a playoff spot for a team we don't know their identity yet, it's truly a good place to be. Because after these last 5 weeks, George, we were both pretty out on like what the heck is this team? Right.
And I do want to shout out one thing. Jackson Smith and Jigba JSN. I said his name right this time. Back-to-back weeks looks like a top 10 receiver in football.
He is 3 weeks in a row actually looking pretty decent. 6 catches for 69 yards against the Bills, 7 catches for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Rams, 10 catches, 110 yards against the 49ers. So we're looking at a guy that's now sitting at almost 700 yards on the season. He has a very solid chance of getting his first 1,000-yard season in the NFL and kind of coming to his own, right? He's 22. I mean, he's coming into his own right now.
Look, they say rookie wide receivers have good years, and second-year wide receivers hit a rookie wall. He's not hitting a second-year wall, not rookie wall, second-year wall. He's hitting a second-year wall, but no, total opposite. He has come into his own, and the last 3 weeks, I mean, his numbers have to rival top 3, 4, 5 receivers in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, we know he's not top 4 or 5.
No, I'm just saying the numbers in the last 3 weeks have rivaled the top.
No, I got your point. I'm just saying, it's just more of a follow-up is that we're aware he's
we're
not.
very aware.
But those last 3 weeks are starting to, look really legit. And that's a big thing to have for this offense, where that someone like Tyler Lockett's kind of slowly going to fade away into, retirement, or fade away into his third half of his career, his second, third thirds. I don't even know how to say it, of his career.
Second, third, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, his last third of his career. I mean, Tyler Lockett, he's had some games this year. One catch for 9 yards against the Bills, 2 catches today.
Mhm.
He's 32 years old. He's not going to be a, top 20 receiver for very long. And it's good to see somebody like Jackson Smith and Jigba come out and, be a perfect number 1 or number 2 next to DK Metcalf. I mean, at the end, he could be the number 1 over DK Metcalf when we look at it in a year or two. That's not unrealistic to say.
Yeah, and that's not an indictment on DK, who's still a great receiver. I think he had 79 yards today, right? 79. Yeah, still a great receiver, and still if you have to argue between him and JSN being who's your number 1 wide receiver, you're in a good position.
Yeah, good problem to have. And it's
different receivers, by the way.
Yeah,
completely different.
It's always going to be DK Metcalf's like a number 1 receiver because of his body type and the style. I mean, JSN, he's not like a slot receiver, but he is. It's just different body type.
He's a position. He's a reception machine.
He's like Tyler Lockett when Tyler Lockett was young. I mean,
better. I mean, he's not better.
I'm talking about positionally. Like, I'm not talking about who's actually a better receiver. I'm talking about positionally.
Yeah.
Tyler Lockett doesn't have the body type or the type of play to be a number 1 wide receiver. And people like Jackson Smith and Jigba, also don't have that. It doesn't matter really, because when you look at a team like the Rams, they don't care if Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua is number 1. The fact that they have both of them is a positive. And that's where the Seahawks are sitting now, is they have 2 really solid wide receivers that are both young. And Jackson Smith's coming into his own now. And the Seahawks find a way to win this game in San Francisco. And now the excitement's back on the line, George. We're back to a reason to be excited, a reason to care weekly. And that's all you can ask for in the NFL. I mean, at least right now, it doesn't suck being a Seahawks fan, because there's some teams you look at, like a team like the Bengals, or if you're the Chicago Bears who have curses, sometimes it sucks being a football fan of a certain team. At least the Seahawks are finding ways to not make it suck.
Yeah, exactly. And we have a couple good weeks to look forward to, and let's go into those games.
I can't wait. And we'll be back this week. Just wanted to do a post-game chat. Great win. Seahawks beat the 49ers. And George, you know what we like to say.
Thanks for stopping by.
See you guys next time. You're listening to the Sports on Tap Seattle podcast. I'm Sammy, and with me, as always, is my older brother, George.
Your favorite place to be a fan of Seattle sports.